Ladies and gentlemen, I've held back a lot. As much as I go off, I've held back a lot over the years. Not anymore. I'm not holding back. I'm sick and tired of that nonsense. I'm about to undress a few folks. Not by name, but I'm about to undress a few folks with that mode of thinking. Here I come. Buckle up. And I want to warn y'all, these words are not the words of ESPN. They're mine.
Welcome to TNT Sports Talk. My name is Travis Karcheski. I'm your host for you today. Thank you to our guy Stephen A. Smith for that intro. We have a huge show planned for you today. One of the best shows we've ever had because it's March Madness, and March Madness is the most exciting time of the year, and we'll get into all that as to why. Got a nice couple facts for you. Got some football stuff to deal with, some free agent news to clean up, got some baseball news, some fun stories. Just a straight up fantastic show for you today. And as always, we're presented by my guy Dom at D's Home Cuts. But again, fantastic show for you today. Today is March 19th. We are right in the thick of it in terms of March Madness. And let me tell you guys, I cannot be more excited. March Madness is right up there with the most exciting time in sports of the entire year. You could even say it is the most exciting time in sports for the rest of the year. March Madness is so different from every other sport. Every other sport has their own different ways of doing championships and deciding who the best team is overall. I think March Madness is one of the best, if not the best. You got a field of 68 teams, even more with the play-in games, I believe. But you got a field of about 68 teams. Everybody's got a chance. From Duke to Iona, 16 seed. They all have a chance to win. Now, granted, is it likely that Iona will win? Is it likely that UC, who is that team? Greensboro or something? Oh, Gardner-Webb. Is it likely that Gardner-Webb is going to win the championship? No, it's probably going to end up being a number 1 or number 2 seed. But at the end of the day, everybody's got a chance. You love seeing these smaller schools getting a shot to go out there and represent their school with pride and hopefully get a big upset in the first round. Because honestly, you really only got to win 6 straight games. And it's very difficult to do. But, every time you step onto that court, everybody's equal. Once you get in, everybody's equal. It doesn't matter what seed you are, really. You just got to beat the opponents that are laid out in front of you. And like North Carolina State did back in the day, you just got to survive in advance. That's the goal. You just survive in advance every single round that you are given, and you just keep moving every single second of every single day. So we're going to get into my bracket a little bit later. First, I wanted to go through some facts about March Madness. I thought they were interesting. I was researching this yesterday. I thought I'd throw this in there because it's also pretty interesting. Again, March Madness is a unique time of year. Not only is it exciting, you could put it right up there with every single thing in sports. That first weekend, the second weekend's great too, but that first weekend, that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there's nothing like it. When the games come on at noon, you're sitting in school. I remember we used to sit in school, and the games would come on at noon, so I'd have about 2 to 3 hours still left of school, and even football practice. I'd have to go to football practice after. So we'd have, 3 to 4 hours where you couldn't really get to a TV, and the games would be on, and you got your bracket, obviously, and you'd watch it on your phone. You try to have it on your phone, or, possibly you get a cool teacher, a cool substitute teacher that would throw it on the big screen for you, and you'd watch it. And all the guys usually are the ones huddling around trying to get the scores. I used to remember I didn't have, I couldn't really watch it on my phone because the Wi-Fi wasn't great and it was really spotty. So what I would do is I get a radio app and I'd listen to it during class, during study hall, or whatever. I'd put a headphone in and listen to it in the study hall, and I would try to get stats, stuff like that, trying to figure out who was going to get the upset and who was going to make my bracket great or who was going to bust my bracket. So March Madness, like I said, it's really a unique time of year. At work, nobody's really working because everybody just wants to get through whatever you have to get through so you can get home, get on your couch and watch this. It's interesting. What is it? Businesses lose an estimated $2.1 billion on lost work and wages during the tournament. Guys don't work. People don't work during this time of year. Nobody wants to work that Thursday, Friday. Honestly, it should just be a national holiday. I know we say that about a lot of things, but nobody wants to work when, you see Irvine's beating Kansas State at 1:30, and you got Kansas State going to the Sweet 16, Elite Eight. Nobody wants to work during that time, but you have to. You got to do your experience. You got to do your commitments, which sucks, but that's why it's so awesome. I love it. $10.5 billion will be wagered on March Madness, whether it's through bracket pools, different games, individual bettings. People love to bet, and March Madness, there's no better time of the year to bet than March Madness because there's just so much going on. It's so much fun. But don't think you'll ever really get a perfect bracket. It's really almost nearly impossible. The chance of getting a perfect bracket is 1 in 9.2 quintillion chance to get a perfect bracket. I don't even know if quintillion's a number. That's the number I got when I looked it up. So it's basically impossible for you to get a perfect bracket, but we try every year. And every year it's like a lottery ticket almost, but it's a lot more fun because every year you fill out this bracket and you never get it right. You think you're pretty confident heading into that. I fill it out on Monday, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday afternoon I'm pretty confident. Thursday morning I'm pretty confident. Maybe you get the first couple games right. Maybe that number 1 seed actually beats the 16 seed like you picked, and you're feeling good. But then the next thing you turn away for a second, you go do your schoolwork, and you check the stats real quick. And next thing you know, 14 seeds beating a 3 seed at halftime, and your face just drops, and you realize you have that number 3 seed going to the Final Four, and your whole thing is screwed up, and you're gonna get made fun of. But when you pick it right, there's nothing else. Nothing else matters. You feel like the man. But go ahead. Everybody's going to just relax, sit back. Our pizza orders are going to increase by 20% over the next couple of weeks because nobody likes to leave their house. Everybody loves that stat where vasectomies for men increase a lot during this time because men get a chance to get off of work and they can just sit on the couch and watch it. And that's what we all strive for as sports fans. To have no commitments during this time of year and just spend Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the next 2 weeks on the couch watching college basketball. You may not even watch college basketball all the time during the year. You may not even watch a second of it during the year. You might not know anything about college basketball, but it's still a lot of fun, and I love doing it every single year. So I made a bracket yesterday. I still do. I do the online bracket. I'll go ahead and I'm in a couple bracket groups this year. I'll fill out a couple brackets online, but I only do one bracket. I only make one bracket for me, and I write it out. I'm kind of old school that way. I like to write it out. I like to have the ink under my fingers. You got to do it in ink. If you do it in pencil, you're a cheater. And then what I do is during the week, I will go ahead and highlight teams that I got right, highlight teams that I got wrong in different colors because I'm organized like that. But I made a bracket yesterday in ink, and then you go ahead and sign it once you're done so people know you're true. And then, like I said, I'll enter it in, and I don't do 2 brackets. My one bracket, I will use that for everything. I trust it. I don't understand why people make 24, 25 brackets. If I make a decision, I trust that decision, and I stick with it from till the end. I ride and die with my bracket till the end. But I'm not going to go through every single matchup, every single game. What I was going to do is give you guys a couple upsets in each region of the bracket, and then I'll give you my final 4. So for me, we go to the East, which is the upper left. Sorry. Again, I don't understand why they do these East, West, Midwest thing. Everybody just sees it as upper left, upper right, bottom left, bottom right. But upper left, that Duke region. My big upset from there is the 14 seed Yale Bulldogs beating the 3 seed LSU Tigers. I think a lot of people are picking this. LSU, Will Wade, their coach, he got suspended for an NCAA infraction / investigation going on right now. He got suspended, and not a lot of people know what's going on with LSU right now or when Will Wade will be back. I doubt he'll be back for this tournament, even if they go far. But they did not look good in the SEC tournament. LSU did not show out. Yale's got a pretty good team. I can't remember his name, but they have one pretty good NBA type of prospect for them. I would go Yale here because LSU's kind of lost right now. I know they're a 3 seed, and it's kind of bold to pick a 14 over 3, but I would ride Yale if I were you. Next, we'll go bottom left, West region. Gonzaga's the number 1 seed. Here, I don't have really any major upsets in the first round. I think I'm taking Marquette over Murray State because I trust Marquette. I think Marquette's deeper than Murray State. I think people, look at Murray State and they see Ja Morant, and Ja Morant's, besides Zion Williamson, he's the best player in this tournament. And they think, oh, I got to pick Murray State. But, Marquette's got Howard. Howard's is as good, maybe a little bit, worse, but not that much than Ja Morant. But at the end of the day, Marquette has more depth than Murray State. So I'm taking Marquette. Plus, my dad's a big Marquette guy, so I got to root for them. But again, in that region, my biggest upset is I'm taking Syracuse to beat Baylor in the first round. And then, obviously, I'm taking Gonzaga. And then I'm taking Syracuse to beat Gonzaga in the second round, to get to the Sweet 16 in round 2. I'm having Gonzaga lose to Syracuse. It seems like every year, Syracuse sort of limps into the tournament, and they don't really show out that much, and most people, don't pick them, and they get a lower seed. Like I said, they got an 8 seed here. But when they get into the tournament, it's like sort of Michigan State. They flip some sort of switch. I don't know where that switch is located, in the bowels of the Syracuse arena or in their practice field, where they just flip this switch where they know it's tournament time. And that defense starts to look a little bit more fierce. The offense figures it out, sort of. I trust Syracuse in the tournament. I don't trust Gonzaga. Gonzaga has been a historically good program the last couple of years. They've never reached a Final Four. They don't perform well in the tournament. And every year it seems like they get the number 1 seed, and people say this is the year that they get to the Final Four. This is the year they prove everybody wrong. And they just never do it. And I don't trust that. I trust Syracuse more than I trust Gonzaga in the tournament, so that's why I made that pick. We'll go to the South region, upper right. I picked UC Irvine over Kansas State. This is one of those things, when I pick a bracket, this is what I do. When I'm going through, if I'm feeling, motivated, I'll go on and I'll type in individual matchups into the Google search bar, and I'll research it a little bit. When I say research, I mean I'll click on 1 or 2 articles about the game, and I'll read what people are saying. But I can almost talk myself into any lower seeded team in these type of games, and I talked myself into UC Irvine over Kansas State. And here's why here's how I talked myself into it. They're playing at the SAP Arena, the San Jose SAP Arena. That's where the Sharks play, the hockey team. That's really close to UC Irvine. It's about an hour away from campus, so I take that as sort of a home game. I also have this sort of gut feeling that Kansas State, they're without their best player. I forget his name, but I think UC Irvine is one of those teams that you just look and you're like, what the hell is going on? How is UC Irvine? I don't know. I just have a gut feeling. It's not a strong reason. You probably have a gut feeling about another team, but this is my team right now. I got two really good Cinderella underdog teams, and UC Irvine is one of them, and my next is in the other bracket we'll talk about in a second. I don't trust Kansas State. I don't trust UC Irvine. I think this is a throw-up game. I think home field matters. I think getting some more fans in the arena matters. And I think UC Irvine has made a couple upsets in the past. I trust them. I'm taking UC Irvine here in this game. Then we'll go bottom right, my last upset pick. Northeastern over Kansas. A 13 over a 4 seed. So I'm picking 2 13s over 2 4 seeds with, I'm taking UC Irvine over Kansas State, and I'm taking Northeastern over Kansas. Not into Kansas teams this year. Now, this one I have a little bit more reason for, a little bit more research, which we'll talk about again. This is from me typing into the search bar Northeastern versus Kansas predictions. And this is what I got from the first article and only article I read. Kansas struggles with teams who shoot a lot of threes. Northeastern is 14th in the country in 3-point percentage, 22 in the country in the amount of threes they take. They shoot a lot of threes and they make a lot of threes. Northeastern is a fast, sort of offense. They got 4 guys who can shoot it, and they will shoot it anytime they touch the ball, and they have a glimmer of hope to make it. Anytime they're open, they're going to shoot. That hurts Kansas. Kansas struggles a lot versus teams who can do that. And that's why I think, Kansas hasn't been great this year. They were big last year in the tournament. They let me down big on the tournament last year. I would have won my bracket pool if Kansas would have beat, I think it was Villanova. And that hurt me a lot. So maybe I have a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth from that. And maybe, this is stupid taking these type of teams, but I'm taking Northeastern at the end of the day. And I don't have Northeastern going, the Sweet 16. I have Auburn taking them out then. So it's not that much skin off my nose if that were to happen. So that's what I'm going to take there. My final 4, it goes Duke, Michigan, Virginia, North Carolina. And then I have Duke, North Carolina in the final with North Carolina winning it. Which is funny because I have a big X in my national championship box. Because I had Duke there first, but I switched that to North Carolina by a score of 86-82. Got to have that tiebreaker in there. You're going to come at me, you're going to say, having 3 number 1 seeds and a number 2 seed in your Final Four is not risky enough. But at the end of the day, it's my bracket. You can make your own bracket. I usually do crazy Final Fours. I usually do, dumb Final Fours that, really don't make much sense. And